call to order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Council. We note that we have 5 members of the council present. We have 2 members who are excused tonight, Councilman Steve Vincent and Councilman Steve Bueller. They will not be with us tonight. Our opening ceremony tonight is Councilwoman Lang. Okay, because one of the councilmen that's absent was scheduled for that. So we will turn to Councilwoman Lang for our opening ceremony.
Would you please stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I hesitated for a minute because not everybody was standing up yet.
Oh.
No, it sounded like a long pause because not everybody was able to get standing. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, once we turn our backs, we don't know.
Yeah, I kind of watch to make sure they all
Okay.
have the chance to get up. Stand up.
Okay, with that, usually we have a scout troop or 2 here, and I don't see any tonight. And unless some of you are awfully mature for your age, so I don't think so. Then we go to our minutes, approval of the minutes of February 2nd. To the council for a motion on the minutes.
Mayor, I move for approval of our minutes from February 2nd.
We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The minutes are approved. Next on our agenda is the comment period. Now, we had 3 people sign up, but if you are here, this is just a general comment period. If you are here to speak specifically on the application on application GPZ 2-2015, which is 3732 and 3736 South, 3200 West, or let's see, wasn't there a second one? Yeah, second one is the one at 2327 South, 7200 West. We will have a specific public comment period on that when you'll be able to speak just a little bit later in the meeting. This one, the first one we're doing now, is kind of for anybody who wants to speak on something not on our agenda or other items on the agenda other than those 2. Okay? So with that understanding, Randy Northrup.
If anyone has any video recording devices, you should want to turn them on.
Actually, we record this.
Yeah,
and
well,
place
yours
it on
can
the
be
internet.
altered, sir, if you don't mind.
I'm just providing you information. I'm not making a judgment call.
I have 3 complaints against me. You said my name is Randy Northrup. I live at 3405 South Beaver Street. And these are dated February 8th. Give you guys a copy. Now, I don't know how 2 properties can have the same problems. Now, it says here that all vehicles and properties must be licensed and operable. Any inoperable, unlicensed vehicles must be removed from your property. Okay, I don't know where this comes from because our car is registered, it is licensed, and it is insured before February 8th. Second, all parking must be permanently maintained with all weather dustless surfaces such as concrete, asphalt, brick, paver, stone. Parking is not permitted on landscaped dirt areas. No one's parking on the sides of my driveway. We only have one car. All solid waste, litter, discarded items must be removed from your property. Any items that are not designated outdoor use cannot be stored outside. I have boxing equipment. It was approved by Officer Martinez, same person that done this, last year. I'm sorry it wasn't written down. Maybe that was my fault. But now he has a problem with it. It's in my carport. We don't use the carport because it's too small for our car. And nothing has changed. Everything that was there when he seen it a year ago is still there. Number 5, all buildings and homes shall have contrasting identifying numbers that are clearly visible from the street. 3405 is right next to my door, has been for the 7 years I have lived at this address. No one's ever had a problem, but now it's a problem. And this is for both properties. Now, aside from the car not being licensed, I don't know about that, but I looked at this property because it's my neighbor. We're in a duplex, and there's no problem. There's not garbage all over the place. I don't see where all of this is coming from, but I know it goes against my record. I've had problems in the past, solved them, no problem. But this, it's unresolved. I don't understand. What's going on? What has changed since last year? I've got these, they were sent to my house, apartments A and B. And my landlord got one. Now, I've known her for almost 8 years. I lose face with her because she reads this and it makes me look like I'm turning her place into a dump. I try to keep my place calm or clean. No one complains about my boxing equipment. No one. The only one that seems to be complaining is Mr. Martinez. I just want this resolved. Because I know if I don't, then I'm going to be fined for stuff that isn't even happening. So if this council cannot resolve it, maybe it should be removed and a new council put in that will respect the rights of the citizen and the city that they live in. I don't know if any of you live in my neighborhood, but this is a concern to me. And if I have to, I will resort to other measures to have it fixed. Can I have that back, please?
All right. Next, we have Matt Chadwick.
Mr. Chadwick, I thought I was supposed to put my name on there in case I wanted to comment in regards to the 7200 West 2100
Okay,
South.
then we'll get to you later. Then Anna Han?
Yeah, I would like to speak regarding to cities and the
Okay, very good. We'll get to those in just a minute. State law requires us to do things in certain ways, so if it seems a little cumbersome, why, that's the way it is, so. But we'll make sure that we have that. With that, is there anyone else here for public comment on other issues? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. We'll come back. Any comments from our city manager?
Thanks, Mayor. I don't have any general comments to make tonight, but just as a matter of comment for the record in response to the gentleman who was just speaking's comments. Obviously, hearing at this time, we don't know what the specifics are of his property or what Officer Martinez's thoughts on the case might be, but we'll find that out and check it out and get with Mr. Morris, who then will get with the gentleman.
Okay, Anything else? Okay, then to the council, any comments? Okay, that concludes the comment period. Now we go to item 7 on our agenda, a public hearing. And in our public hearing, we are going to address application number GPZ-2 2015, filed by Eugene Hahn, requesting a general plat change from a large lot residential to medium density residential, and a zone change from A, agricultural, to residential multifamily. This is for property at 3732 and 3736 South, 3200 West, approximately 3.15 acres. Guess that's not approximate, that's pretty exact, isn't it? So this is the issue that's before us. We would now, or I would declare open the public hearing on this application to the public. Is there anyone here who is to speak to this issue?
Hello, my name is Anna Han. I speak as the applicant on this. So I don't know how much you guys know about our application, but basically, since we first filed the application a couple of months back, and when we last spoke to Steve Pastor, we do have several updates that I would like to share with you guys now. So first of all is regarding the property immediately to the north. Are you guys familiar with the situation? Okay.
There's been a request in the council if we could pull up the map of that property. It'll take us a minute to do that, and that's so that the council will know what you're specifically, what those items are.
Okay, sounds
Sorry.
good, thank you.
It'll take just a minute.
Okay, no problem.
Then we have to put the screens down. Call it out.
Mayor, as the screens are coming down, maybe I could just make a quick comment
Yes.
for the benefit of the attendant. So you'd asked earlier if council is aware of the situation or has seen or known anything about the project. Just so you know, the staff does do a presentation for the council in the meetings previous to this one.
Mhm.
So generally, they will be aware of how the project is set up, what the request is, the general locale, all that sort of thing, so.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, and that goes for all items that we will address tonight. They've been addressed in a previous council meeting, and we've had opportunities to ask questions and the like. Now there's the map. So,
Yeah, that's perfect, thank you. So as for the updates, the first one is regarding the property immediately to our north. This one right here. Currently it's an elderly lady who resides there, and we have spoken to her several times. Due to personal reasons, she is not looking to sell while she is alive, and so we respect that. But she says after she passes away, her children may be looking to do something else with the property, is offering it for sale. So at that time, we will be immediately looking to make that purchase and incorporate it into our community. Basically, how we have set up the plans for our townhome community is that right in the entrance, we have a road leading to the back where all the townhomes are. So right here, that's where you have the entrance. And with the property up here, Once she is available to sell that property, we will be able to incorporate that right into our community, and it will be a very easy and flawless acceptance into our area as well. So the property immediately to the south of ours, 3750 South, which is this one right here. We have spoken to Chris, who is the owner of this property, and he is looking to sell the portion of the property towards the back of it. So we are actually in talks with him right now to acquire that property. In addition, we've also just very recently spoken to the property next door down to the south, which is this one right here. They are actually looking to sell that very quickly. It's in the immediate future, so we are in the talks with them about that property right now. We have gone further down and are trying to get in touch with the next property down with the intent to make that purchase as well. So our plans contain the 29 townhome units, but we have contingent plans that are ready to incorporate any of the surrounding properties as they become available for sale. With our design, we hope to incorporate the entire community into here, so there will be no issues with landlocked plots around us. And it will be in our interest as well, from a business sense, to incorporate those properties. So we would definitely want to do that. So when we first purchased this property about 2 years ago, we actually first came to West Valley City to inquire what are the regulations regarding building on this area. And at that time, we were informed with certainty that we could build 8 units per acre. Since then, last year, there were some sudden regulation changes. But even then, we have come to meet all the requirements that are necessary to be considered for this development. So one of them is the fact that there needs to be multi-family units surrounding our property on 2 sides. So in fact, right on the west side of our property, on the right here, there are 3 duplex buildings. And to the south, we have a 4-plex right here, and 4 more duplexes down here. In addition, although not immediately adjacent to our current property, but would be if we were to incorporate the one to our north, there are quite a few duplexes up here, and there are for a total of about 16 duplexes in that area. So we are able to meet that requirement to be considered. In addition, the quality of the material being used in the townhomes also makes a big deciding factor. So we are actually a construction supplies business, that is our business. So we are able to source some of the best materials at some of the best prices. So in our own development in this area, we are looking to use some of the top quality materials. So compared to perhaps the rest of the city or the rest of the state, our townhome quality would be far above average. So basically, we're looking to help this area become more beautiful and help improve the city. When we first came to Utah many years ago, our first residing place was here in West Valley City. I went to Academy Park Elementary. Since then, we've moved around a little bit, but now we come back with intent to help the city grow and make the area look nice. I'm sure all of you have the same intent to improve the city, and we come here with the same goals. So thank you very much for your consideration. If you have any questions, I'm open to your questions right now.
I was looking, I don't see any, so doesn't appear to be, although if some come up, we can have you come back up.
Okay, I would glad to.
Okay. Is there anyone else here to speak on this particular issue? Seeing no other members of the public who desire to speak on the issue before us, the public hearing is now closed. and the matter is now before the council. The council has, in conjunction with this, 3 ordinances. One for the general plan to show a change of land use, one for a zoning change, for a change of zone, and the third for a development agreement, 3 different resolutions. So, to the council then for comment or any action.
I move for approval the ordinance number 16-07. So we go one by one, or we go?
Yes, we'll need to deal with each of them separately on
Okay.
our agenda. They're related, and I highlighted them, but they're all to this basic same issue. But we will deal with them separate motions. So you have a motion to approve ordinance 16-07. Is there a second?
I'll second so that we can discuss it.
The motion is properly before us. We have those noted in the record. Discussion to the motion to approve.
So I guess my concern would be that with all of those properties put together, I think it'd be a great development for single-family homes. I think this infill piece is large enough that single-family homes would fit very, very well. I don't think it's a small infilled piece that needs just a couple of fourplexes. And so I would rather deny this and wait for it to be assembled and then okay single-family homes in this area.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yes, I have a comment.
See?
Look at the map right there, and based on the applicant's information, we can see the east side of his property is the duplexes and also the fourplex. And then the west side is the three duplexes right there, and the north side basically is adjacent. It's the one a narrow strip land, and then above that we have multiple duplexes up there. And I don't think it's a good thing for us to put the single home in that, because we put us in the buyer's shoe. If we go out and look for a single home and surround the property is the duplexes and fourplex, are we going to buy the home in the middle of that, in the center, for our spouse and our children? I don't think that's a good idea for the buyer perspective. For developer perspective, if we have a single, that center of that map right there we have, just allow him to build only 3 or 4 homes in that spot. And if 3 or 4 homes in that spot, he's gonna go bankrupt, because he had to do the power, the gas, and the electric power, gas, and water, and renters, and everything in there. He's not gonna make any money. He can lose money. The park of the south right there, you see that tonight. See right there, that one of my rental units right there. A decent home. I said in our study meeting, 3 bedrooms, 1 full bed, and a decent backyard. But the tenant has a nice backyard there, and they did a very good job last summer. And they have trampoline there, and sometime in summertime they have a party. People over there park their properties directly to this vacant land, and sometimes they have a problem with the snake and raccoon, because in this vacant land right here, back here they have a hut or the small barn there. It's very old one, and the raccoon is coming down this way. But it's not my property yet. But I really don't want they interrupt my tenants, children playing time or their party, and that's not very nice. Tonight, you see anyone lived out here in the salary here, or the single home right here, are they here tonight and speak against this applicant? None of them. None of them. Why? Because west side of my property is his name is Bill, and the east side of my property is his name is Floyd. They all want to see this one to develop, and our people in this area want to see this one develop too. And that reason why I just against what my colleague here, Caroline, says about single home.
Okay, other comments? I have a couple of questions, clarifying questions, if I could, from Mr. Pyle or your staff. One is on this map, the yellow on there, does that indicate single-family homes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second, in the ordinance that we set up, where we had two sides that were already bordered by, higher density housing, what was the definition of that? In my mind, when we did it, I assumed that it was two sides, meaning two full sides. This here has 2 points where they touch, but it doesn't cover all of it. So could you clarify for me what the ordinance says and what it means?
You bet. Sir, I'm going to turn that over to either Nicole or Steve, who I believe is still out here. So Nicole, should I defer to you, or you want Steve to come on up? Okay. So Mayor, we'll have Mr. Passer come up and answer.
Thank you.
So as was pointed out, there are 3 requirements that need to be met to be eligible to request RM zoning. And so the second one gives 2 options. One is you need to be on a street with a certain right-of-way width. And then the second point says, or be adjacent to existing multifamily residential development on 2 sides. And so typically we define multifamily residential as any type of housing that has more than 1 unit in the same building. So duplex on up would be considered multifamily.
So does it meet the requirement of the street?
Actually, it's an either or. So either it needs to be on a right-of-way that's at least 100 feet, or have multifamily on 2 sides. So it meets the second test.
So it's just touching property on 2 sides. It doesn't have to be fully along that way.
Correct. It doesn't say that it has to be along the entire side of 2 sides of the property.
So Steve, but we still have the discretion to deny it, even though it has that?
Correct, yes.
Because it meets that, it doesn't mean we have to approve it.
That's correct. So if a property meets the 3 criteria, it means that they're eligible to apply. If they don't meet the criteria, we can't accept an application.
So if we still don't think it's a fit, we can deny it at this?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, but right now it's with the council, and so any further comments or questions? Councilman Christensen, you wanted someone to come back up? You had a question?
I was just noting that Ms. Hahn did have her hand up. She may be able to clarify her plans too.
Well, we'd have to reopen the public hearing portion then.
I would move then that we reopen the public hearing and let her answer some of the questions we've had.
There's a motion on the floor. Can you do a substitute motion for that? That we reopen the public hearing? So I turn to our staff for clarification.
So I forgot the part where you actually had the motion already on the floor.
The motion was to approve ordinance 16-07. and it was seconded.
Mhm.
So that's the motion before us, properly before us. So would we have to suspend our rules? Would we, I just-
Let me turn to the attorney, who I know doesn't claim to be any parliamentarian, but I'll bet he's got an answer for us here. Okay, Eric.
That's allowable.
Okay.
The
Meaning,
substitute motion.
do the substitute motion to reopen the public hearing.
That's correct. You
Okay.
won't have to suspend the rules because part of the procedural rules.
Okay, very good.
so what happens if we take that motion and it passes? Does that eliminate the underlying motion?
No. you
How
still
many
don't-
motions can you have on the table at one time?
I don't know how many angels can stand on the head of a needle either, Mayor, but
Well, no.
if that question comes up, I guess we could deal with it. I'm assuming we could do multiple substitute motions if you, I guess the broader concept here is you as a council get to run the meeting however you want. So if you want to take comment, we'll figure that out from procedurally.
Yeah.
how to let
Well,
you do it.
here's the issue. As I understand it, the council has taken motions that we have an agenda and our rules require us to follow that agenda.
Sure.
So if we're going to violate the rules the council took, I guess you could do that, but then would it be legitimate if someone questioned it later?
I think the point has been established that it's not a violation. And as I look back to the attorney,
Okay.
he's fine with us doing that.
Okay.
So substitute motion, you can consider it if you want to.
Okay, the motion is before us to reopen the public hearing. And thank you, and I apologize we go through this. I have to learn and it helps me to understand why we do things. One of the things I don't want someone to come later and say, you didn't follow your rules, therefore what you did was invalid.
Right.
That's not likely, but unless someone gets upset, and then they can always come back. So with that, then, we have a motion and a second before us to reopen the public hearing. All in favor of, or any discussion? See no discussion? Do we have to do a roll call vote on this? No. Okay. To reopen the public hearing, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes unanimously. The public hearing is reopened. I now state that the public hearing is open. Would you like to make some comments?
Thank you for going through that to let me speak again. So I just want to address Councilman Lang's concerns and suggestion with the single family. So basically, our biggest concern with that is that, first of all, the surrounding properties all around this property are in the $100,000 to $150,000 range. So with several single families in the middle, it will be a hard press. So from a business standpoint, a lot of people would not be willing to make that commitment to develop that area, knowing that they may not be able to get the attraction that they would need to get that sales point. Second of all, sorry, totally blinking out. So basically, in order for, so second of all, the main concern is that I mentioned there are several properties surrounding ours. So we do have plans because we want to incorporate them. We don't want any landlocked properties, just like you guys don't want that either, because it would be just a dead spot for the city. So that's what we want to try to avoid, but at the same time, we do not know when some of those property owners will be looking to sell. So if we're trying to stick with the single family, this development could be, who knows when that would actually happen. Rather, with our plans right now, not only can we do it very quickly, and we can also incorporate any surrounding properties. In addition, we know it will be properties that can be sold. With our townhomes, they will be in the $200,000 to $150,000 range. So it is already significantly higher than the value of the surrounding homes. And with this property being surrounded by $100,000 to $150,000 range, it would really be a hard push to do anything higher value than that. Also, in addition, if with our current property, if we were trying to do single family, because it's such a long stretch back from the main road, we'll have to spend a lot of money pulling the utilities back to supply the townhomes or the single family homes in the back. Based on calculations, I think it was, if we were to do single family, there would be about 5 units total. So the amount of money spent on the utilities, pulling all those lines back versus how many units we have to sell, how much money we'll make from selling those, because we're all business people, so we try to calculate if we're going to make money or not from this development. If it doesn't make money, then it wouldn't make sense to develop it. So from that standpoint, either way, a single family would not be something that people would be willing to do easily, because it doesn't make as much sense financially. I don't know if you guys have any concerns, so maybe I can address those before you guys close the public hearing.
Any questions? Got everything clarified? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I would make one comment, of course, as we talk about other properties around. Those other properties are not before the council, and we can't vote on those. We have to deal with what's in front of us, the property as it exists, for there is no future guarantees of what those properties will do. We can talk about likelihoods and probabilities and desires, but in truth we don't know until those are before us. So, anyone else for the public comment? Then, seeing no one else, I'll declare that the public hearing is now closed and the matter is back before the council. We have a motion before us. That motion is to approve ordinance 16-07. Any further discussion? Councilwoman Lang.
So just, because she did bring it up that they were trying to acquire that land, that's why it makes sense to me to do the single family. The other thing is we have small pockets like this that are infilled in other areas of the city, and they're all occupied and doing well, and they have nice homes. People like that little private community. So I do think they do work well in the city as an infill. And you're surprised sometimes when you just drive down a road and there they are. So I can't list them all to you, but we have quite a few.
Single family infill.
Single family fill with, 5 to 20 homes. But it's its own private community inside of a situation like this with homes, that were built in the 1920s around them even. And they still work very well.
But, thank you, Mayor. But according to the mayor did mention about the fact that we have right now, what we have right now is only that pocket right there, and they can do is only 5 homes. There's no future the plan for other piece of property. They still working on it. I don't think it's that yes or no, we don't know. But right now we just study about what we have right now, and only 5 houses, and that does not go well for all of us. I mean, for developer, they're gonna go bankrupt for that.
Well, and this first one we're addressing is the general plan change, which is looking into the future of what that area could be. And that's why I'd rather not change it and leave it single-family home or the larger lots. Just because that, we picked those areas for that reason, is to the connected parcels that could make nice, bigger communities. And we've done it in other parts of the city, that we've saved those and want the nicer homes. And these little infill pieces were kind of what we were remodeling last year when we passed that ordinance. So we weren't looking at individuals, we were looking at connected vacant properties.
Okay. Any further comments? Councilman Nordfeld.
Thank you. This is a really difficult issue, and I know that this is pretty high stakes for you folks. And I'm concerned for your interests as well as I am the interests of our entire city. This is something that we've spent a lot of time talking about for the past 2 years, and this is a really important issue. The way this situation is right now, I'm not comfortable voting to approve this because I am trying to look to the future of this whole neighborhood, and I'm not sure. I don't believe that townhomes in there will be what's best for the long-term future of the entire neighborhood. I think of the people across 3200 West or just around there, if this is the kind of direction we want to bring the neighborhood. And so the way it's presented tonight, I can't vote for it. Maybe at some future time with other properties and presented in a different way, maybe, but I just don't feel comfortable tonight to do that.
I think we can do a roll call.
Well, I would like to make some comments before we do that, and that is, this is the first, I believe, project that has come to us under our new rules. And for one thing, I was caught off guard by the two sides, because I didn't recall that we had said touching on two sides or partially two sides. I thought the code read two sides. And to me, a side is a side. You can't break it down and say, well, a side is just a piece of it. So it's created some confusion in me as to what the intent of our ordinance was. Now, it may have been clear to everyone else, but I'm a very literal person. So I take the words literally just exactly like they say. So that was a little confusing to me. You know, what is touching if there was just in a neighborhood of hundreds of single-family homes, but you had two duplexes and they happened to be on a corner and on those two parts, would that then qualify? Apparently, by staff's interpretation, that does. And I'm not sure which way to go on this. Clearly, the outcome could change if there were more council members here. So it's kind of interesting just to have this one before us. And I know that those who represent that property are anxious to see this resolved now, but I think there's still some clarifications that need to be made and some discussion to be held on this. So at this point, with 5 of us, it would require 4 votes in order to pass. Just so you understand that. It would require 4, because 2 council members are absent. So, with that...
It would require those 4 if those 2 council members were here, too.
It would, but it always requires 4.
Right.
The different dynamic is that means that if of 5, if there are 2 noes, it doesn't pass. Whereas if it's 2 noes when the regular council is here, it passes fairly easily. So I just highlight that as a discussion item for the future. With that, any further comments? If not, we'll go to roll call vote.
Councilwoman Lang,
No.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
No.
Councilman Nordfeld,
No.
Mayor Bigelow,
No.
motion fails.
Interesting. With that, just a clarification, if that, I guess we still need to address each one. So that takes care of ordinance number 1607. It did not pass. We have next before us ordinance number 1608.
Mayor, I move that we deny ordinance 16-08.
Second.
Motion is properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Lang,
No, I mean, yes. Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
No.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes?
and Mayor Bigelow.
No. No.
The motion fails.
Oh, wait a minute.
The motion
I'm
was,
sorry,
the
what
motion
was
was
the
to
motion?
deny.
Motion was to deny.
I'm,
Yes.
I'm still on the previous motion. I apologize. I'm the one that's confused, not you. I thought I was being consistent and I'm not. So the answer would be, yes, I support the motion to deny. Okay, I think I got that right.
So does the motion pass?
Motion passes. Correction.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I got confused there. The double negative threw me. Now, the mathematician understands that, but us lowly accountants don't quite get there. Okay, now resolution number 16-35 to the council.
Mayor, I would move that we deny resolution 16-35 also, with the suggestion that as they get the other properties put together, they could come back with another development agreement.
Second.
Motion is properly before us with the motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a roll call vote.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes?
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
No.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next on our agenda is application number Z-4-2015 by Paul Rivera at 2327 South 7200 West. This is a zone change from agricultural to manufacturing. And that is the issue before us. This is the one that is north of the 201. So with that introduction, I hereby open the public hearing on resolution, or excuse me, application number Z-4-2015. Is there anyone here from the public to comment on this item? Please come forward.
My name is Matthew Chadwick. I reside at 5952 West Fox River, 84118 West Valley City. I'm a general contractor. I've been asked to represent the Riveras. They would like the M zone to be granted, changed from agriculture. Their interest is to do automobile sales and service. They're willing to conform to your requirements to repair, make everything look appealing to the eye from the curb, from the street. There needs to be repairs to the siding, the roof, and there's some fixing as well. Everything will be compliant to the American Disability Act, the ADA, and I believe that's everything.
Any questions from the council, or?
I just have one question from last week's discussion. Either I forgot or it wasn't mentioned. Will the home, I understand, will be modified to an office? Will there still be residents there, or,
No, it would just be, it'd be changed from a home to an office.
so it will be a complete office there?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I think that's addressed in the development agreement on the
Yeah.
next issue, so.
Like I say, I probably just forgot it from last
Yeah.
week.
Hey, I forgot from the start of the motion, so. Okay. Seems like nothing else, thank you very much. Anyone else to speak on this issue? Okay. Then we will close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the council. It's now before the council for comment or action.
I move for approval ordinance 16-09.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we'll take a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Then, in conjunction with that, we now have Resolution 16-36 for the development agreement on that same property.
I also move for approval resolution 16-36.
Second.
Motion is properly before us. Any further discussion on the motion to approve this resolution? Seeing no further comments, we'll take a roll call vote.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Next we go to item number 8 on our agenda, Resolution 16-37. An agreement for administrative services on the city's 457 retirement plan. For the administration of that plan. And trying to recall, this is a fairly routine thing. Will actually, in the long run, I believe, save the city some money, put it under professional management. I was trying to recall the amount, it seems like it was 35,000?
28,000.
28,000.
And
And that's covered from the gains. So the city does not have to put out any additional
No,
funds.
in fact, if I can add just one clarifying
Yes.
comment. Assuming that we do put that money back towards the employees' plans, as they were the ones that contributed to it, it will actually be revenue neutral to the city. It won't gain or lose anything,
Yeah.
the city itself. Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? Then we're ready for a motion.
Move for approval of Resolution 16-37?
Second.
We have a motion and a second before us. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, we're now on item 9, our consent agenda. We have 3 items there, all with RAR investments. These are fairly routine items, a warranty deed, and this is on property near 7200 West and the SR 201. Warranty deed, a storm drain easement, and the abandonment of a storm drain easement, as the storm drain will be moved to accommodate the needs of the property owner. The property owner is paying for all of those costs, so the city is not paying to move that.
Yeah, this is the property just contingent to the property we just approved. So
Correct.
it'll benefit both properties, actually.
With that introduction then on our consent agenda to the council.
I would move the approval of the 3 items on the consent agenda.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place a roll call vote for the consent agenda, which are resolutions 16-38, 39, and 40.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That completes our regular agenda. Any final comments from the council? Seeing none, then we'll take one last motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned.